Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2430 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. In today's Wisdom Nugget, I'll guide you through the vast landscapes of biblical wisdom. Today, we'll delve into the heartfelt and deeply personal Psalm 13 from the New Living Translation. This psalm, written by David, captures the raw emotions of a despair and a profound faith that ultimately triumphs. As we read Psalm chapter 13, verses 1 through 6, we'll explore the journey from sorrow to joy, from doubt to trust. Let's embark on this path together. Psalm 13, verses 1 through 6. O Lord, how long will you forget me? Forever? How long will you look the other way? How long must I struggle with anguish in my soul, with sorrow in my heart every day? How long will my enemy have the upper hand? Turn and answer me, O Lord, my God. Restore the sparkle to my eyes, or I will die. Don't let my enemies gloat, saying, we have defeated him. Don't let them rejoice at my downfall. But I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. David begins Psalm 13 with a cry that many of us can relate to. O Lord, how long will you forget me? Forever? Oh, how long will you look the other way? Verse 1. This opening verse sets a tone for the entire psalm as David pours out his heart, feeling abandoned and forgotten by God. The repetition of how long emphasizes his deep sense of despair and impatience. In verse 2, David continues, how long must I struggle with anguish in my soul, with sorrow in my heart every day? How long will my enemy have the upper hand? Here, David's anguish is palpable. He is not only dealing with an external enemy, but also struggling internally with sorrow and anguish. This dual struggle, both external and internal, adds to a sense of desperation. These verses remind us that it's okay to bring out our raw, honest emotions before God. David's openness with his feelings shows that God is big enough to handle our doubts, fears, and sorrows. It is a powerful reminder that we don't need to hide our true feelings from God. Instead, we can come to him with everything in our hearts. In verses 3 and 4, David transitions from expressing his despair to pleading for God's intervention. Trust and answer me, O Lord my God. Restore the sparkle in my eyes, or I will die. Don't let my enemies gloat, saying, we have defeated him. Don't let them rejoice at my downfall. David's plea is urgent and heartfelt. He asks God to turn towards him and answer him, highlighting his desperate need for God's presence and response. The phrase, restore the sparkle in my eye, vividly expresses his desire for renewed hope and vitality. Without God's intervention, David feels that he cannot continue. His very life depends on God's response. David also appeals to God's honor by asking him not to let his enemies gloat over his downfall. This plea underscores David's belief that his fate is intertwined with God's reputation. By rescuing David, God will deliver him and demonstrate his power and faithfulness to all. Despite the anguish and desperation, David makes a profound declaration of trust in verses 5 and 6. I will trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. This shift in tone is remarkable. David moves from pleading for help to confidently expressing his trust in God's unfailing love. The word but marks a pivotal transition, indicating that despite his current circumstances, David chooses to trust in God's steadfast love. David's declaration, I will rejoice because you have rescued me, shows his faith in God's deliverance even before it happens. This is a powerful example of faith, believing in God's promise of rescue and rejoicing in it, even while still amid trouble. Finally, David concludes with a commitment to praise. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. This verse encapsulates the journey of the psalm, from despair to trust, from sorrow to praise. David's willingness to praise God in his trials is a testament of his deep faith and trust in God's goodness. As we reflect on Psalm chapter 13, verses 1 through 6, several key lessons emerge that we can apply to our own lives. First, be honest with God. David's raw honesty in expressing his feelings of abandonment and despair teaches us that it's okay to bring our genuine emotions before God. We don't need to hide our struggles. We can openly share them with God, knowing that he hears us. Second, cry out for help. David's plea for God's intervention reminds us that it's important to actively seek God's help in times of trouble. We can turn to our God with our needs and ask Him to restore our hope and vitality. Third, trust in God's unfailing love. Even amid despair, David chooses to trust God's steadfast love. This trust transforms his perspective and enables him to rejoice in God's promise of deliverance. We too can choose to trust in God's unfailing love, knowing that He is faithful. Fourth, rejoice in God's deliverance. David's decision to rejoice in God's rescue even before it happens demonstrates a powerful faith. We can learn too to rejoice in God's promises and trust in His deliverance even when we haven't yet seen the outcome. And fifth, commit to praise. Despite his struggles, David commits to praising God for His goodness. This commitment to praise, even in difficult times, can strengthen our faith and draw us closer to God. As we apply these lessons to our daily lives, we deepen our relationship with God and strengthen our faith. Being honest with God about our struggles allows us to experience His comfort and presence more fully. Crying out for help reminds us that we are not alone and that God is always ready to respond to our needs. Trusting in God's unfailing love gives us hope and assurance even in the darkest times. Rejoicing in God's promises helps us to maintain a positive and faithful outlook. Committing to praise keeps our hearts focused on God's goodness and faithfulness. As we conclude our exploration of Psalm chapter 13, verses 1 through 6, let's carry these lessons with us on our journey. Be honest with God, cry out for His help, trust in His unfailing love, rejoice in His deliverance, and commit to His praise. By doing so, we'll arm ourselves with the timeless wisdom of this psalm and navigate life's challenges with faith and assurance. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Wisdom Trek. May these insights of Psalm 13 inspire and strengthen you as you continue on your trek through life. Until the next time, keep seeking God's wisdom, cherish each moment, and continue to make a positive impact on the world around you. And if you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.